Let's take a look at the page layout features available to us while working in our project in Viewlet Builder 7. Select File, then select Page Layout from the menu bar. In the page layout window, you notice we have layout types available to us. We see that we have the standard slide view layout, which was available in previous versions of Viewlet Builder. Now in Viewlet Builder 7, if you have assessment question slides in your Viewlet, quiz questions that are scored, you also have another layout type available to you called Question Summary Layout, which we'll look at in just a bit. Let's start with the slide view layout. In the header area, we have options to give our Viewlet a title. Maybe we want to change this to something like Viewlet Basics for this particular project. We can have the printouts display the date and time, as well as putting a slide border around our slides. So watch what happens if we go ahead in this preview area over here and we deselect, say, the display slide border. You notice that it disappeared. Now this will just display a slide border around the slides themselves, and usually you might want to frame them if you're going to be printing out handouts for your viewers or for training materials and so on. We also have options now in the layout area. We can choose to have the printouts print out in landscape. We can determine how many rows we want for the printouts and how many columns. And you notice that you see as you update the rows and columns for your layout spread, it updates the preview area so that you know what's going to be printed. Or you can also change it to portrait as well. We'll go ahead and keep this landscape. In the options area, you have additional selections for printing such things as hidden slides, your slide title, which is what you see over here. Here it has slide 7 on this particular one, but whatever the slide titles are, they can also be printed. You can opt to print balloons, your correct answers, quiz responses as well, the cursor path notes, and also slide notes too. And slide notes would be handy if you have presenter notes that you want to have on your handouts to also make available to your particular trainees. You can also opt in the footer area to have page numbers added. And if you want to go ahead and preview how your printouts may look, you can go ahead and use these VCR buttons here and just go ahead and scroll through them as needed. And finally, you also have the option for your slides in the slide area to print just the current slide. You can choose to print maybe from one particular slide to another slide. So instead of printing out the entire project, maybe you want to only print part of it. You can opt to do that here, or you can opt to print all slides. Once you set these up, then you can either go ahead and click OK and save them so that the next time you go ahead and print out your slides, this will be the layout that will be used by your printer, or you can immediately go ahead and print as well. Now, I mentioned before that we have a different layout type that's now available also in Viewlet Builder 7 if you have quiz questions, and this is the question summary layout. So let's go ahead and select that. Now, this will only show any of the slides that have quiz or scored questions on them, and it gives you the ability, for example, if you want to print out tests for your students, it's easily done directly from the project now. Again, you have the same options here for your header. Maybe you want to call this Viewlet Basics Quiz. You can display the date and time if you want that the printouts were made, or maybe in this case you don't want to do that if you're going to use this as particular these printouts as quiz papers. You can determine if you want it to print the questions in landscape format or portrait. It will print as many questions as possible per page. So right now, if we print in portrait, even though we have multiple quiz question slides in this project, it's going to print 2 pages. But if we change it to landscape, you notice it's going up to 3 because it's only printing fewer questions, 2 per page as opposed to 3 per page here. And then again, you also have options that you can select to include on these particular printouts, as well as page numbers. And you can go ahead and go through and preview what they may look like, and in the questions area determine if you just want to print out the current question from what question slide to question slide, or if you want to print out all questions. And again, you can go ahead and click OK to save these settings as needed. So we'll go ahead and click OK to save these settings. Now, one other area you want to pay attention to when you have the page layout option available to you is when you're publishing your View-It. So let's go ahead and look at that. We'll open up the publishing wizard. Now, when you go ahead through your publishing wizard, there may be times that you might want to print out an HTML document for the web page. Now, you notice when we select this, we have the page layout option available. So while we're directly in the wizard, we can click the page layout button. And again, we can go ahead and choose different options available for what we'll be printing out to our HTML document. The other options in the publishing wizard that will have page layout will include the image set. This was previously found in files export images. Now it is part of the publishing wizard. Now in the image set, pay attention to the page layout. This will determine how your images are printed out. So here you can decide what you want on your image files, as well as which of the slides you want to print out as well. So here's where you set those options, and you can change them right here in the publishing wizard. And we also have the ability to go ahead and select page layout options for PDF documents right here in the wizard. Okay, again here, since it's a more robust printout, we have the ability to change the layout types here for the PDF document. And we have the similar options available if we want to print to Word or RTF rich text format. Here's the page layout options here that we can change while we're in the wizard as well for these particular output formats. So that's all there is to it with the page layout options. If you have any questions on this particular topic or any others while working with Qarbon's products, please visit us online at qarbon.com. That's QARBON.com. Happy View-Letting!